This is another new article from the past couple of days that I wanted to chime in on. Apparently, and this news kind of stings a little bit, but apparently The Mandalorian Season 3 is delayed. Now, this article's from Paul Tassi on Forbes, who's kind of hit or miss. He sometimes writes absolute garbage, but sometimes he's okay. But let's see what he said about this. Because I didn't actually hear about the status of Season 3. Last I heard, it was supposed to be December 2021, and it was supposed to be out around the same time as the Book of Boba Fett. Remember when we were all confused about is Book of Boba Fett Season 3 or not? But no, that's confirmed to be a separate show. So here's what it says. He writes, "There has been so much Star Wars news recently that some stuff is falling through the cracks." Yeah, this fell through the cracks for me. Yesterday, Disney confirmed that the teased Book of Boba Fett after the Mandalorian finale was indeed a separate project. Yeah, I'm really late on this, to be honest. From that show and was not replacing that show. Well, it kind of is, in a sense. Here's what I mean. Jon Favreau, I didn't watch this interview, but I want to still. Jon Favreau gave an interview on Good Morning America this week, shortly after the announcement where he gave an additional detail about what's going on. This is the deal. The Book of Boba Fett is debuting in December 2021. Yeah, we knew that from the end credit scene of the finale. The Mandalorian Season 3 will not hit its usual date of the fall, where Season 1 debuted in November and Season 2 debuted in October. Rather, Favreau confirms that they will be doing pre-production when Boba Fett airs. He slipped and said Christmas, so it could be late December, and then production will start on The Mandalorian Season 3 after Fett is finished. So that means we will likely not see The Mandalorian Season 3 until early spring, late spring, or potentially even early summer of 2022. Yeah, that sucks. With how it ended, it's like, we gotta wait that long. And we know it's because of COVID, to be that's the obvious culprit. And that sucks because that's happened to a lot of movies this year. There were so many movies this year that I wanted to see and review, but they all got pushed back until 2021. So we basically lost a whole year in terms of entertainment. So now we get it all doubled up in this year, where it's stuff that was going to come out this year anyway, and then stuff from last year. It continues with, as for why this is happening, that's not clear. There could be some filming, production stuff going on with COVID. Yeah, that's what I figured. That pushed it back. There could just be so many different projects now that Favreau's working on that he needs more time. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't want him to spread himself too thin, because yes, I want him involved with every aspect of Star Wars, so I don't think they should be, like I said, I don't think they should just shotgun blast 10 new shows out there unless he's involved with all of them, and he can't split himself up 10 different times and have himself work on everything. He can't clone himself. Be nice if he could and work on all this at once, but he can't. So he's got to take one thing at a time. And to be honest, after the sequel trilogy and after it was clear that they had zero plan whatsoever, I'm okay with having to wait a little longer if it means they have a plan. Because could you imagine how much better those movies could have been if Disney didn't rush them to get it out? Because J.J. Abrams said he wanted it out in 2016, and Disney was adamant, no, you have to get it out December 2015. So they shoot basically when the script's not even done yet. And could you imagine if they did what George Lucas did, where he spent, I think, 3 or 4 years on each prequel, and we had a 3-year wait between each one? It makes it more special when you have to wait. And I think that when you're spinning this many plates and juggling this many balls, you need to give as much time as possible for each project. It continues. There could be. Oh wait, I read that part. Or there could be something story-wise in the Book of Boba Fett that plays into the Mandalorian Season 3 that has to occur before we see the new episodes. We still don't know if Boba Fett is meant to be a one-off limited series. I think we do, don't we? It seems like it is. Or something larger. Since they haven't said limited series, I would assume the latter. Also in this interview, Favreau spells out what we all assumed, that yes, it's Dave Filoni writing the Ahsoka show for Rosario Dawson. That's good news. We sort of guessed that would be the case, given that he created the character for his animated series, but he will essentially be the Jon Favreau of that show. Why can't Jon Favreau be the Jon Favreau of the show? It seems while Favreau has written the vast majority of Mandalorian episodes, directed a few, but other directors have stepped in to lead most episodes, and he says he and Filoni are working on Rangers of the New Republic together, but no more hints as to what that's about. Yeah, hopefully some of the criticism of the past 2 seasons of Mandalorian is it feels a little bit disjointed and the pacing is weird, and that's probably because they let different directors do their own thing with each episode. Most people agree that the Favreau written episodes are the best ones, and the Favreau directed ones, because he's got the most experience. And you got a couple directors in there that have very little, and some that had 0 experience. What's her face? Bryce Dallas Howard. She hadn't directed anything before her episode in Season 1. That's kind of weird, to be honest. So hopefully Season 3 can be more cohesive, where I assume it'll be about the retaking of Mandalore. So hopefully the entire season is one through line of Din Djarin going on a quest to retake the planet. And I have the feeling because of how much CGI is going to be needed for Mandalore. That's probably why it's taking longer. They need a bigger budget because it's going to be a lot of work trying to animate all of Mandalore. After seeing it in Clone Wars, seeing it in live action is going to be a chore for the VFX department. And then it ends with, in short, The Mandalorian Season 3, starring Armando Pedro Pascal, does exist separately from Boba Fett, but it will be delayed past the usual year gap, and Boba Fett will take its spot as it begins production. All in all, just a ton of Star Wars content coming. You just might have to wait a little longer for more Mando than you thought. Yeah, that's unfortunate for a lot of the fans that were hoping we'd get it next year, but like I said, if it's for the betterment of the story, I'm willing to wait a little longer. It just sucks that we're still having to say, oh well, we have to wait for more good stuff because it's mind-boggling, and I think I'm going to make a separate video about this, but it's mind-boggling that Lucasfilm has been owned by Disney for 8 years at this point, or is it 9? No, 2012, December 2012. So yeah, 8 years at this point, and it's taken them this long to start getting stuff that people like, that the entire fan base is enjoying. We had 5 years of the sequel trilogy that was super divisive, and then you had the 2 spin-offs in there, which Rogue One and Solo. 5 movies over the course of 5 years was just way too much, and that showed in some of the quality. Compare that to George doing a prequel every 3 years, once every 3 years. That's madness. So yeah, the fact that it took 8 years for them to finally start getting stuff that everybody likes is not a great track record, to be honest. I just hope that moving forward they listen to fans more, because they're your customers, and they're the ones that are going to pay for all this. Don't listen to the morons like on Twitter that don't actually have money or pay for this stuff. So that's really all about it. I was just going to say how it kind of sucks a little bit that we have to wait an extra year for Season 3, but I'll be here to cover it when it happens, hopefully, if COVID doesn't get me. Anyway, so what do you guys think of having to wait an extra year for Mando Season 3? Do you think it's a good thing in the end? Are you going to be impatient for it? Do you think it's going to be the best season yet? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching.